So let me ask you this. Dave Gettleman says he knows for a fact there are 2 teams that would have drafted Daniel Jones. Are you buying this?
Well, they're not going to tell you, those teams. So they're not going to say we wanted Daniel Jones, and unfortunately he was taken. So you'll never know. And I trust Dave Gettleman. I don't have any problem with him saying that. You do your due diligence. You think you may know, and you can't risk losing a quarterback that you feel is one of the top players on your board. And Dave Gettleman had to feel that way because Josh Allen was there. And, you know, he was one of the top 4 or 5 players on most boards, and they passed on him to take Daniel Jones. So if you love the quarterback and you think he's the franchise and the great heir apparent to Eli Manning, you can't risk waiting until 17. So they did the right thing. Whether it's the right quarterback, we can debate that for 100 years here, and we'll know that in 3 to 5 years, and they're in the same division. Haskins now with Jones, which is going to make it even that much more intriguing.
Everybody else, you know, by year 2, they start him right away. But Gettleman wants to buy himself 3 years on a guy he reached
like
for.
Phil Jackson.
I mean, Mel, he should have tried to trade him for a 2nd-round pick the moment he made the pick. See if he would have gotten a 2nd-round pick for this guy. Who's more likely to have a better career, Daniel Jones or Stidham, the guy who Bill Belichick took?
Daniel Jones. I mean, all this love for other quarterbacks and hate on Daniel Jones makes no sense to me. Daniel Jones, a lot of the people that are hating on Jones probably never even watched him play. So, you know, they look at him and say, Daniel Jones, why? Yeah, again, it's a good quarterback. It's a kid who didn't have a lot of help around him. Stidham at Auburn struggled. Daniel Jones had the higher grade than Jarrett Stidham, and Daniel Jones has a chance to be the better quarterback in the NFL. It would be surprising if Stidham was better than Jones. So this notion that Daniel Jones is a backup. I know Todd thinks he's a backup or maybe even a solid starter. So not just a back, could be a solid starter. And a solid starter can win a Super Bowl. We've seen it before. Solid, good to solid starters can win Super Bowls.
With the 6th
But Max, can I just say one thing to Max about, I want to bring up Tom Brady because I saw you on TV. He was a backup in college at Michigan. And look how he turned out.
Yes.
So why
with
no
faith
in this
because
guy?
with the 6th pick in the
It doesn't matter, Max.
Yeah, but who cares? What if Tom Brady was the 6th pick?
That doesn't matter.
Tom, it's the difference between the 6th overall pick and
Doesn't
a
matter.
6th-round pick. Of course it matters.
It doesn't matter, Max. If he believes that this guy is great, then he's got to take him. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Go ahead, Stephen Isar.
Mel, I hear where you're coming from, but what I would ask is this. If I'm listening to Mel Kiper, hypothetically, not hypothetically, literally, if I'm listening to Mel Kiper Jr., and he's raving about Haskins, and Haskins is there at number 6. The only thing that bothers me when people come out and say, well, this guy was good, this guy's good, he's not a bad quarterback, et cetera, et cetera. My point is you're measured. You ain't being measured against me. You ain't being measured against Mel or some non-football player. You're being measured against your contemporaries, people that are in the same draft as you as it pertains to this question that we're talking about now. So when you look at what Dwayne Haskins brought to the table collegiately, combine and beyond, and you compare that to Daniel Jones, what do you see?
Very similar. Their grades were very much in line. Drew Lock was right there. Kyler Murray was the wild card. In my opinion, there wasn't much separating those 3, and it's basically individual team preference or individual evaluator preference. In Dave Gettleman's case, he loved Daniel Jones. Some people liked Dwayne Haskins. Some people loved him. Some thought he was very overrated. So don't think that Daniel Jones didn't have some haters like Daniel Jones has haters. Dwayne Haskins went to 15. They didn't even have to trade up for him. So where were all the teams that loved Dwayne Haskins? Were there any? Okay, we don't know that. But Drew Lock, where was all the love for Drew Lock, who was expected 2 weeks before the draft to maybe go in the top 10? He dropped into the 2nd round. In Denver, it was their 3rd pick. So this notion that all these quarterbacks were loved or hated by a lot of people were right in the middle. They didn't know. They weren't sure. But there were a lot of people out there that liked Daniel Jones and thought he would be a good quarterback. Now, in Dave Gettleman's case, he's thinking he can be a great quarterback. And I'll tell you what, a lot of quarterbacks that people were down on going into the draft. Drew Brees, did everybody love Drew Brees in the 2nd round? Did everybody love, as Molly said, Brady in the 6th? No, they didn't. And I can go through a ton of names of quarterbacks that are Aaron Rodgers, look at all the hate he had on draft day. Teams passing over him.
If he winds up being Aaron Rodgers, I'll shut up. But it's not okay for him to be an average NFL starter. You took him with a 6th pick. You left other guys on the board. He basically has to be a borderline Hall of Famer for that to work out.
No, he doesn't, Max.
Well, hold on, Mel.
No, he doesn't.
Josh Rosen was available. for less. Sam Darnold was available last year.
Josh Rosen was liked by so many teams, they only got a second-round pick for him.
Dwayne Haskins, well, let's see what you could get for Daniels right now. I don't know if you can
Dwayne
get a
Haskins went
second-round
15th in the draft. Max, he didn't go number 1 or number 5. I mean,
Right,
if Daniel Jones is a good quarterback in the NFL, that's satisfactory.
Josh Rosen, Max?
Wait, Mel, this is what I'm saying is Josh Daniels is going to be compared to the people I just mentioned. It's not enough for him to be okay. He must be better. Daniel Jones, sorry. He must be better than Haskins, must be better than Haskins, must be better than Rosen, must be better than Darnold, or Gettleman messed up.
Who says he won't?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he won't. I'm saying let's see.
It's going to play out. We don't know. We don't have the crystal ball, guys. We don't, Max, we don't know. Nobody knows until you get a guy in your system, you get him in that offense. You know this kid's competitive. You know he'll work. You know how smart he is. David Cutcliffe swears by him. Cutcliffe has been a quarterback whisperer. And I think for Dave Gettleman, he feels I have the right guy. Hey, I don't have a problem with people taking shots and being questioning the pick. That's fine. There's no question about that. If I'm Dave Gettleman, I probably feel pretty good about it because a lot of times the guys that are hated turn out to be really good. As Bob Knight used to say, if you listen to the fans, you're sitting with the fans. So, again, there's nothing wrong with this dialogue and opinions. I respect all of it. But for Dave Gettleman, there's nothing wrong with taking Daniel Jones at 6 if you believe he can be a really good starting quarterback.